All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Hardscape Growth Show. My name is Alex from TechnoBlock, and today we're joined by Sean Collinsgrew and Catherine Lippincott from Premier Outdoor Living. These guys are killing it on social media, and they're using it to grow their business. They're being very selective with the business that they're doing with their customers, who they do business with, what type of work they take on, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having
us.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. So today, like I said, we're going to talk about the impact of social media and marketing for your business. It is 2022. It is January. Most of our audience here today are completely slammed with work, probably booked out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe even 12 months in advance. Why on earth would it matter for them to listen to us talk about social media and marketing when they don't know where to throw themselves?
Yeah, I think that's a problem that everybody in the industry is having right now. The demand across the board is so high. So people kind of look at it like, why am I going to invest this time into creating content and pushing my name out there even more when I'm so busy I don't know what to do? I think that curve is going to kind of flatten out a little bit. The whole industry is going crazy right now, but that's not going to last forever. And I think now is a really good time to push your business to the next level and make sure that all the jobs that you're getting, you might be super busy and you might be booked out, but are all of those jobs the exact type of jobs that you want to do? Are you working for the type of clients that you want to work for? Are you getting the right profit margin on those jobs? So I think times like right now when everybody's so busy, it's obviously really easy to get work right now, but a lot of people get lost in that busyness and don't really step back and reflect on, I'm busy, but I'm not necessarily more profitable. I'm not happier. I'm not less stressed. And right now is a really good time to kind of kickstart an organic marketing campaign like social media and content.
So basically, because we're so busy, you can afford to dedicate some time to improving other facets of your business so that when things do slow down a little bit, if they do, you're even stronger and ready to capitalize and continue going in the direction that you want. You're steering the ship.
Exactly, yeah.
Catherine, you have a marketing background. You worked in commercial real estate, and then you did marketing for a very popular energy drink company. How do you view the role of marketing in the eyes of a small hardscape business in New Jersey?
Marketing across the board is just incredibly important, and like we were saying, it's so important if you want to get the good jobs and be the person in your area that's the go-to person for design or whatever you want your thing to be. Marketing, you need to prove that. You need to show the people that you are capable of this. So if you have this amazing online portfolio or however you decide to market, people will trust you when they come to you. If you're like, okay, I want to try this awesome inlay or whatever you think your thing is, you can show them. You can say, okay, check out my Instagram. If you want some ideas, these are the things that we've done. This is our style. This is what we like to do. These are the jobs we like to take on. You have that. You have that to prove what you're capable of.
So do you say that it's not only to attract business, but it's also a tool that facilitates sales when you're interacting with the customer?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's your reputation. It's if no one's just going to hire somebody and be like, I can do this, but I don't have anybody to show you. So if you have a way to show people that you're capable of doing all these things, they're going to hire you, and then they're going to trust you when you make suggestions or want to change something or upsell a client. You have this background to prove it.
How long's your waiting list right now for clients?
It's we're sold out for this year.
Yeah.
We shut off inquiries in November?
Yeah.
For 2022. We only do about 10 projects a year, so it's not much, but we get, even on our website, the contact form says we're completely booked out. You know, if you email us, we'll put you on a waiting list, but we're not going to get back to you until probably late summer or fall. And we still are getting a ton of leads, and it's a great position to be in, to have way more leads than you can possibly build, because we can be super selective with the clients that we work for, and we can pick the clients that are willing to pay for what we do. And so many people just get caught up in just being busy and not really evaluating, finding the right client and being in a position where you're in control and you can pick the client. You're not trying to necessarily sell yourself to every single client. you want to make sure that they're a good fit for you.
So it's great to be able to be selective and say, like, I can choose the right client.
Yeah.
What does the right client look like for your business?
For us, I would say most of our clients are between 30 and 40 years old. They are probably just moved into their forever home. They want to invest in an outdoor living space. They've followed us. They trust our design, everything about us that they have bought into. So that's like one of the biggest pre-qualifiers for us is we want them to come to us for the design. We don't want a client that, you know, has a hand-drawn sketch that they did and they want a deck here that leads down to the patio. We want clients that come to us and say, we want a place to hang out in the backyard. We want a spot to lounge, and I want them to be coming to me for the design. So I'm in control of what the design looks like, and that's because at the end of the day, all of our marketing materials are based around the jobs that we do. So I want to be in the driver's seat of what this job's going to look like. And if it doesn't fit with our style or our brand, we can walk away from it.
One of the things you mentioned is they already follow you on social media. That's part of what an ideal customer looks like for you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you have any information on roughly how long they're kind of stalking your Instagram or other social media before they reach out?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, more anecdotally,
I'm looking for like a,
yeah.
Let's look at this chart.
Yeah. Most of them have been following us for a long time before they reach out. Mm-hmm. And then most projects, we have been talking to them for, I would say usually the first contact is a year before we actually build it. So between the design process, a lot of them will reach out, we'll do a consultation call. They might not be ready to pull the trigger right then, but I've given them all the information about what their budget should look like. They maybe save up for a couple more months, they'll call us back, and then, you know, we kind of walk them through the whole process, and most of them have been following, I would say before contact, like at least a year.
So given the current context of the market,
Yeah.
you have a client who you would be doing work for in 12 months, let's say. They started following you 12 months ago. So it's a 2-year cycle from when they get that initial inspiration, follow you, start realizing, wow, we could do something a lot better than just what we initially thought.
Yeah.
That's probably going to cost more. Maybe they check out your website where you indicate, you have on your website like a pre-qualification thing,
Yeah.
right? Like you say like what the kind of the floor is for your project.
Yeah, we have project minimum at 30,000, and that's one of the best. Obviously, most things in this business come down to budget and whether the people can afford it or not. So I found that was a good number to deter the clients that aren't our ideal clients, that are looking for a really small project or something that's very basic and they're looking to spend $5 or $10 grand. We are really built to do bigger projects, so 30 grand is kind of the minimum. We found that was a good number to put online that deters all the people that really 100% aren't going to be our client.
And that number was a lot lower just like a year ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think before that it was 15,000. And we changed the language in it too, so it says the project minimum is 30,000. Most of our projects, I think it says between 50 and 100,
Yeah.
and larger custom projects can be much more than that. So it gives them the biggest pain point I found was getting out of that like $5,000 to $10,000 range.
Yeah.
So many people just they have such an unrealistic budget. Like if somebody's at say even 25, you can probably kind of like
Stretch them out,
and they're in a little bit more of a realistic frame of mind. But some people are just like, I'm under the impression that I can get a whole backyard done for $5,000.
Yeah.
And those are the people that we just don't even have the time to. We don't want them to even contact us. We want to give them that information on our website.
So the content you put out attracts those people. They start following you. They visit the website to learn more. They see like, like there's a threshold. I'm not ready yet. So they don't contact you if they're not meeting those certain criteria.
Yeah.
Then they finally do, and then they get on the waiting list. So this is a perfect example for why the topic of conversation today, why I need to be marketing my business even though I'm crazy busy right now, is because when they discover you, they're not ready to buy. When they discover you, they're starting to think about it. And if you're the one that's planting that seed of inspiration, you stand a much better chance of being the one that they reach out to. So starting your marketing efforts or starting to get better at social media and publishing content today will help your business in 2023 and in 2024. It could also help you right now, but that shouldn't be the goal. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We want, like, our ideal client is somebody that's been following us for a long time, so that it's a really competitive.
It's like pre-sold.
Yeah, if somebody's at the point where they're, okay, I want to contact people for a patio right now, and I know what I want to spend, it's really hard to build trust with a prospective client when they're ready to buy right now. They're going to Google who's in their area, they're going to set up estimates, they're going to set up consultations, and you have to try to build trust with this prospective client over the phone or in an hour-long meeting at their house. We're building that trust way before they're ready to buy. So we've proven that we're a trustworthy, reliable, consistent company, and that makes it a lot easier. Most of them, they're just dead set on hiring us at that point when they're ready anyway. But even if they're not 100% set on it, once we do the consultation and they feel like, okay, this matches up with everything that I've seen, it's so much easier.
Message.
Exactly. Yeah.
How, and we've talked about this on I think the first episode that you were on the show, but just for the benefit of the live audience here, how do you get that content started? So I'm listening to this, I'm listening to you guys talking, and there's 86,000 followers on Instagram, and what was it, 129 years worth
Of YouTube,
of content that has been streamed on YouTube in the past year, like in terms of length of minutes watched.
Yep, 68.5 million minutes.
It's insane numbers, but that's not necessarily what a small business here in Marlborough, Massachusetts needs to do to be successful, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do they need to do?
So there's two different ways that you can exist on the internet, I would say. Like if we're just speaking specifically to Instagram or Facebook, you can either just post occasionally and have it just be like a running portfolio, post a couple before and after pictures, people love to see that. Time-lapse is a huge thing for us, so prop up a GoPro, run a time-lapse video, post that, or you can go really heavily into it where you spend a lot of time with branding. You become the face of your brand. You put your face on the internet. That's my big rule. Put your face on the internet. Let people get to know you and be excited to hire you, and really go gung-ho into it, like a strategy where you are consistently posting every day. You're posting to Reels. You're posting to Shorts on YouTube or on Facebook. Just if you put a lot of time and effort into it and really get people to know you. But if you don't have that time or you don't want to do that, you can just exist as a running portfolio. So then if someone Googles you, they can look at your portfolio. You're not necessarily hustling for likes and subscribers or anything, but you can just have at least a portfolio to show people, so you're not appearing as just like a fly-by-night contractor.
An active and a passive track that you can take.
Yes.
The active one, you're trying to get in front of as many people as possible.
Yes.
And the passive is just when they're looking for me and they find me, I look like a star.
Yes, exactly.
With regards to that passive one, because I feel like that might be the starting point for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Are there pieces of content that have the greatest impact? You mentioned like portfolio pictures before, after, time lapse, but let's say we're talking about the portfolio pictures. Is there anything that you guys have noticed in terms of what is in an image? Like what is the composition of an image? Do I need a lot of colors? Do I need crazy patterns? Do I need to see it completed and with furniture, or do you need to see it in construction? Like, is there something that seems to work better for you?
I would say that depends on who your audience is.
Okay.
We have a lot of contractors that follow us, and they love seeing those progress pics. They want to see the framing of a deck, or they want to see the excavated land. They want to see the progress. But if you're just actively advertising to clients, before and after pics. They want to see that after picture. They want to see what you're capable of, and then you swipe over and you see what it started with, and you get that, wow, oh my gosh, I can't believe they took this from this to that.
Yeah, so even the before after, it's really like after before is what you need to post.
Put the after. You don't want the before picture. that shouldn't be what you're selling. You're selling the after picture, so that should always be on the forefront.
So when you started doing this, because you've been running the business for 6 years. Did you say 6 years?
2015, so,
Okay, so
7 years.
So this is the 7th year.
Yeah.
When you started, was social media content on your priority list in year 1, year 2, like at what point was it like this is at the top of the list along with selling jobs and building jobs?
It was pretty much day one because I started out really just with the creative skill set, really more inclined on the design side. Pretty much learned all the installation as I went, and the only advantage I had in my local market was that I was younger than most of the other business owners. I was already on Facebook, on Instagram, just personally, so I saw that as an opportunity. And also online, you can portray your brand however you want. So it allowed me to really dive into all I'm worried about for the first year or 2 years is I want to get really good finished pictures, and we're not going to worry about squeezing out every bit of profit from these jobs, but I can take those finished pictures and I can create whatever brand I want online. And if you go to our website or you go to our Instagram, compared to somebody that in reality is way more established than we are, we're going to look like the more legitimate high-end business, even though I have a year experience in this field. So that was like really the genesis of getting into social media. It was one of the only things that I felt I had an advantage just being a little bit younger. And it started out, now we're doing YouTube videos and all that stuff, and it's a whole nother animal. But when we started, we were trying to get local clients.
Get the name out there.
Get the name out there. And all of those pieces of content were the easy stuff to do. Get a drone. Take your time getting finished pictures. You can get finished pictures on your phone. You don't need to hire a photographer.
Without a hose in the...
That was gonna be my line, yeah. Like, why does every hardscaper have to have the hose running across the patio in every picture? Like, it's such an easy thing. The other big thing is make sure, I always see on pavers, some of it's wet. It's like you set the poly sand.
It's wet or it's dry. Pick one.
Pick one,
Yeah.
exactly. Don't put the poly sand, set it, and then, this half is dry and it looks terrible. Like, wait for it to completely dry or make it completely wet. Like, just have it look the same and take your time on just the composition of the shot. I mean, I can't tell you how many pictures I see from legitimate businesses that their finger is in front of the lens when they take the picture, and there's like a little blur on the corner. It's like,
and this is what you post.
Yeah, and this is what you post, and you want to go to a client, and if you're bidding against us, where we've spent so much time building this brand, if someone's going to spend 150 grand with a contractor, we're going to stand a way better chance of landing that job and having them give us the deposit happily with no restraint over somebody that, like, this guy, he's got a hose, and like, does the hose come with the patio? Is that my hose? It's just so
wrong focus.
So simple things. So get a drone, take your time with taking pictures, make sure it's clean. I don't think it matters too much whether it has furniture or it doesn't. I've found with us, it's best to get the pictures right after we're done. The last day, once it's completely clean, we've power washed everything. That's like the cleanest it's gonna be probably ever. So I stay later that night, take them at the magic hour of right as the sun's going down, so you don't have these harsh shadows. You can get amazing pictures from a drone, and really just simple stuff like that are the most impactful. Now we're spending hours and hours making YouTube videos. Stuff like that's not worth it if you're just looking to kind of build your traditional local business. But start with those simple things, And then you can just kind of build on that. Set up a time-lapse camera, get a GoPro, set it up, every day, just make it part of your routine. It takes 2 seconds. Get to the job, set it up on a ladder, plug it into a battery, and at the end of the job, you can create an awesome video. And those are our most successful still. Easiest to make and most successful videos that we do online. The one project we did this year now has 7 million views on YouTube, just a time lapse. So stuff like that is really easy. It's the most impactful. And once you get in the habit of doing it, just making a few changes in your mindset, it makes a huge difference.
How much time is it fair to say should be invested to get the ball rolling? And that might be a tough question because you guys are so content focused. It's basically half your business is content related. But for someone who, like, if maybe if we go back 3, 4, 5 years, how much time were you investing?
I would say an hour a day is
not more than that.
I'd say it depends what your goals are. The evolution for us was I started making the content to grow the business locally in like a traditional sense, and I just loved making the videos. It was a lot of fun. I thought we had a unique perspective, being a small company, just kind of starting out, but landing these really big custom jobs. So I thought we had a unique perspective, and I just really had fun making the content. So we started to build the business more around the content necessarily than like we're not trying to scale the volume of our actual builds. So I think an hour is plenty. Do some things like stories on Instagram, have your face in front of people, take a little bit of time each night and do a post. Doesn't even have to be every day. You could do 3, 4 nights a week, do some pictures, and that's really, if you put an hour in a day, you're gonna be ahead of 90% of the people, especially in your local market.
There you go. I'm curious, did it have, or does it have, an impact on hiring and on retaining people? I'm curious, like, even for someone like Catherine, like you came from a little more corporate side of things, and then you join a small outdoor living construction company in New Jersey. Like, did that play into your perception going into the interview and then subsequent hiring process?
Yeah, absolutely. It's when you're researching a job, if you want to, you get offered a job, you're researching the company, like you get a blurb and about me on a website or something, but like if you have a social media presence, I could see every single project that he's done for the past 6 years, or I can see how excited he is on his stories about the things that he's building or creating, or how the team gets along with everybody. So I would say it plays a huge part. And we just went through the hiring process when we hired a new person, and we did we just advertised on the Instagram and said, hey, if you want a job,
We're hiring.
Send us your resume. And we got plenty of responses just doing that.
So you're not necessarily feeling the squeeze of the labor
No.
shortage right now, is that what you're saying?
And we're in a unique situation where, it's only 6 of us, but I think...
I mean, just how many people on your companies right now, just out of curiosity? You guys are 8, 10, 8,
4.
4. There you go. So
okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're right in the middle.
Pretty
of it.
cool, yeah.
It's amazing because everybody's talking about the labor shortage, and I think it just the social media definitely helps, paint that picture of what it's like to work there. We like to have fun. We build cool stuff. I think prospective employees look at that as this is a company that's going places. I can not just get a job now, but maybe I can get a career here. You kind of show them a path for growth. They've also, if they go back, they can see where you've come from in a short period of time. So it's been amazing for us. We don't have a lot of turnover on our team. So when we hired somebody new, what was that, October, November?
Yeah,
Something like
somewhere
that.
around there.
we did one post on Instagram, and I think that was the only.
That's all you needed.
That's all we put out there, and we
Yeah.
got, I'd say, probably 30 resumes.
I think it was like 45.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's the people that you hire are the people that are out there building your business. Whatever your goal for your business is, if it's to get to 100 million in sales, or it's just to build really cool stuff and maybe do $1 million in sales, your people are the ones that are out there. So not only with you want to be in the driver's seat as far as picking your clients that you work with, you really want to be in a position where we get 30, 40, 45 applications. We only need one person, but we can be really selective and try to find the best fit, and not, hey, we need to hire 5 people and we got 3 resumes. That's not a good position to be in.
Yeah.
Because then you're, you really,
Well,
you're
you
at the
don't
mercy
have
of
much of a choice.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to hire those 3 people. You still need 2 more, and these 3 people might be the worst 3 out there.
Might be.
So it all works together. You can take baby steps in the beginning, and it really, I think, mostly is just a shift in perspective, putting a little bit of a priority on it. You could even spend a half an hour a day, just do a post, do a story in the morning, set up a time lapse, and you can forget about it. And then at the end of the job, you have some really good content there.
Get that, pinch it around your ear there. You use a lot of different materials in your projects. You do a lot of different creative designs. I have to imagine that plays into, quality content. It's not just that it's a time lapse, that's a before after or after before actually, or that it's a portfolio picture. Like, it's not just the composition of the image; it's also what you're doing in there. And you do unique things,
Yeah.
and that's part of what has made the success. You're mixing different products, you're creating different patterns, you're trying different things with features, and you have those hanging lounge chairs and things. Like, you're doing all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, I think you have to be doing at least something cool or unique, or building a quality project that has some sort of appeal to it. Otherwise, no matter what marketing you're going after, that's like kind of a given. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to go insane with crazy inlays. But if you're not building a nice project, well, you probably don't want to be on social media. If you're building stuff that
You don't wanna
doesn't
be
look
showing
good,
that off, yeah.
you probably should be one of those people that doesn't have a social media
But I
presence.
mean, like, even doing the inlays, like, they don't need to be crazy.
Yeah.
But just something that's not just 20 by 20
Yeah.
beige or gray, or
Yeah.
just get some color, get some things popping in there, get some features like fire
you have
features or.
all of these layouts in the spec book, in the contractor support manual. It doesn't have to be something that takes an extra, 100 man hours to do a design. We've done some like that immediately after starting, why did we pick this insane design with 4 different height pavers? But there's a ton of them that we've done, and some of the ones that I like the best are no-cut patios, where we've done plenty with Blue 60, Valet, Squadra, Blue Grande. We know that they all
all
work
modular,
together.
yep.
I can actually draw it out, especially on a smaller patio, and really design it almost piece by piece. I can just sit there and count the blocks, and I can build it and do a really, really cool design. No extra cuts. Maybe it takes 10% more time than just throwing down, the 3-piece pattern, but doesn't take a whole lot of time. If you sit there planning it, you're probably going to end up with less cuts than if you were just doing a random 3-piece with a border. So you can do stuff like that, and again, I think that's just a shift in mindset to put a priority on, being different. You have to have something unique to offer, and that's what you want to leverage in your social media or your marketing or your website. Just shift your perspective, and you're really giving contractors the tools to build all these cool things. All the displays out there, you have all these products that work together. You've already shown it. They can show a client, so it's an easy sell. There's all these tools at their disposal.
And, well, thank you. I mean, that's what we try to do. But This is what happens when you do a live show. You don't remember what your question was. I don't remember. What else can I say? What else can you say? You said something. I don't remember. How about we open it up to questions from the audience? Because I don't remember. I had a last question, but I cannot remember for the life of me. You guys have any questions? Josh.
Being selective in your customers, most of our work comes from old customers. So my fear is being selective. Now we have a lot of work that in 10 years, when things dry up, whatever it dries up, that these people won't call you because they blew me off last time. Do you have any?
So I'll just repeat so everyone hears. The question is, does being selective today potentially burn you in the future because you may be rejecting clients today that in 4, 5, 6, 7 years from now you would like to be doing business with because the market has changed? Is that basically the question? Like, is there a fear element in there or a concern of scarcity or something like that?
I think that's a perfect example of choosing the right client. And just because you're being selective doesn't mean, hey, we did a patio for you before. You know, it's you already know, was that a good client or a bad client? If it's a good client, part of being selective is saying, yeah, this is the client that we want to work for again and again. But you also have that ability, oh my God, the last time we did a project for this person, it was a nightmare. Mm-hmm. And you can avoid that, you know. But as long as you have a constant, steady source of good, qualified leads coming in, that's going to put you in the position to say, all right, this client was a nightmare last time. Let's not go back down that road, and find a nice way to say, sorry, we're booked up. But it's if you have a client that you worked for before that was great, that's perfect. It simplifies the pre-qualification process because they've already worked with you, you've worked with them. You know right away, were they good or bad? And as long as you have enough leads to keep all your crews busy, you can be the one that makes the decision, do we want to work for that client that was bad, or do we want to pass it on because we don't need the work right now?
Yeah, and if I can comment on that too, like I think that's, you mentioned a mindset shift. I think that's absolutely a mindset shift that we all need to make, and that is, let's not be in a mindset of scarcity. I don't think that you should be concerned, oh, I blew off these people in 2022 because that wasn't the type of work that I wanted in 2022. This is going to bite me in 2025 or 2027. I don't believe that at all. The market has shown it continuously grows. There's more than enough business for everybody here to grow their business as big as they want. I don't think we should be scared. And I think that plays into not only that aspect, but also how we price our jobs and how we present ourselves and how we present designs. There's no reason for us to be sheepish or shy or hold back. They deserve the best, and we're the best. So let's act like it. I'm not saying me, us, I'm saying collectively. Like we offer the best solution. If you want to invest in your outdoors, this is the best place to spend your money. So let's do it.
Yeah, and I think you don't have to get to a point where we're getting maybe, I'd say at least 100 really super qualified leads a year, at least. And that's despite every effort to, get people to not email us.
You're telling people like no.
Yeah, and we still get
Directly,
so many.
on the website, no.
Yep. Yeah, and they still come through and they're like, but please, we want to hire you. And we're doing 10 projects a year. You don't need to have that type of ratio, but you just need to make sure you have maybe
more than you need.
More than you need, yeah. You want to have, like, I'd say twice the amount of really qualified leads than projects you could do, which isn't a hard position to be in, and just takes a little bit of effort. And I think people, now is the time to realize the opportunity that's there. It's not, the market's not going to be like this forever. And on the other side of this, I don't think we're going into a deep recession or things are going to come to a halt, but it's going to be a little bit more competitive where the homeowner has more leverage and control of who they hire.
Yeah, and where they spend their money.
Exactly, yeah.
And how they spend it.
Exactly.
Is it on outdoor living? Is it on a vacation? Is it on a car?
Yeah.
What is it? We have any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
I like how you go from one job to the next. And do you foresee yourself having 100 leads, having multiple
Yeah, that's never been our goal. Just me personally, if I was trying to run even 2 jobs at the same time, it would be complete chaos. It's chaotic enough just doing 1 job at a time. Luckily, Catherine is super organized and keeps us on track, but we've kind of found out that we love making the videos and stuff, and so we're pursuing other opportunities and just trying to grow that content creation side of it that we do, and we want to stick to 10, 12 projects a year and really just push ourselves as far as design and just get better on each project. So that's always been our goal. And I got a little bit of a taste of trying to go down the scaling route, and it was just me doing more of the stuff that I'm not good at. So it was, and that I don't like. So I like being on site. So I tried to build the business around doing the things that I like and that I'm also good at. So we have no ideas of scaling.
I think like the success and the growth doesn't necessarily need to be tied to the number of projects or the number of square feet you put in the ground. It has to be like, what is it that makes your business optimal for the vision that you have for it? If it's you want to grow revenues exponentially, well then, yeah, you are going to need to do more work. But if you want to grow profits, to be able to take home more money, to be able to do more of the things that you want to do, you don't necessarily need to do more work, you need to do more of the right work. And that's where the start of our conversation really, comes into play. Does that make sense?
I think there's really, most people aren't like us where they're like, we want to stick to 10 or 12 projects a year. A lot of people want to scale their business, and it's even more important to at least have some priority on making content or just being active online. It's going to be very rare for any company to stay at 10 projects and consistently get 100, 200 really qualified leads for high-end projects. Like,
Right.
we don't need that.
It's not realistic expectation for...
Yeah, and it's not necessary. I think if we were just trying to do what we're doing locally and we tried to get 50 leads a year, that's still way more than 10 projects.
5 times
we can
more.
still be really selective at that point. So I don't think like from the exponential growth that we've had in interest, it's not like we can then be 5 times as selective, because we're not even talking to necessarily all 100 of those people. Like, some of them just get pushed onto the waiting list, and by that time, they might have moved on and done something. So it's just making sure that you have more than you can actually build.
Okay. We have any other questions? Don't be shy. Have any?
I go,
Oh,
go,
yeah,
go.
sure. Go ahead.
As you guys have been scaling up, you noticed that you've been selective in putting a certain geographical area around you guys from hey, we're getting a lot these good paying jobs in a certain area.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I forgot to repeat last time. That's not you, it's me. So the question is like, are as part of being more selective, is there like a geographical pattern or something that you've noticed, like this area I really want to focus on, right?
Yeah. Ideally, yes, we do. And that's something we're trying to work on. Like, trying to have Catherine not tell me about leads that aren't really in our ideal area, because sometimes
Sometimes
I'll
we get
read
cool
the
opportunities.
email and I'll be like, wow, this project's really cool. And we have a couple projects that are about an hour away from us this year that I wouldn't say I'm regretting, but I'm like, man, I'm not looking forward to driving that every day. So we're trying. I select more on like what the project is, what kind of like unique opportunities for stuff we can build is. But as we get more leads, we can be more selective. So we want to be closer to just geographically our headquarters, and that's another thing that's really important to profitability. If you have people that are driving all over the place, an hour commute each way, gas is expensive. You got to pay your employees.
And there's an opportunity cost. There's less productive hours.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yep. So, yeah, you can target that you can target locally with your marketing, and that's how people do word of mouth now. You know, people say, hey, we just got a project done in our neighborhood, check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So
And all these different, all these different elements are elements of marketing again.
yeah.
I know marketing is like a big, broad subject, but like really, if you're trying to hone in on a tighter area, then once again, you need more people in this area to know about you. If you have if you get 100 leads, just to take that number again, you get 100 leads, but the 100 leads are from the entire state of Massachusetts, that's not going to get you to like the optimal position where you're in control. The market's still controlling you. If you can get 100 leads in, a 30-minute radius from here, and your office is in the middle of that, well then, good. Then you're really giving yourself the best chance to be as profitable as possible.
I think, kind of based around that, a super important part of taking that initial step, like maybe you're traveling up to an hour for jobs, but you want to stay in a neighborhood, or an area that's within 20 minutes of your shop. The most important step to start that process is starting to say no to the jobs that aren't in your area. Mm-hmm. So we started doing that based around just the design of the project and the look of it. It was really hard to do in the beginning, to say no when we didn't have a lot of demand for our projects, but doing something that's an hour away is going to lead to more jobs that are an hour away. If you turn those jobs down, it puts more of an emphasis to make sure you figure out a way to market closer to your house.
You have to get better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what we did. The important thing for us was the design and the look of the projects and the custom spaces. So in the beginning, I was turning down simple projects even when we didn't have any work, and it was like really scary to do, but I knew I just want to build these custom spaces and I want to be creative. A 12 by 12 simple patio is going to lead to more 12 by 12 simple patios. So we would pick jobs based around that, and you can do the same thing with location or anything.
That's probably the biggest piece of advice of this whole conversation, is to have the confidence to say no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that job. That's not the right job for my business.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's
scary.
the hardest
It's hard.
the first time
Scary,
you do it.
It's very hard.
But I think so many people are in the mindset of not wanting to say no to any client, and we say no all the time now because it's just not the right opportunity for us. Whether it's too far away or it's, they want a Tuscan villa look and that's not our style. We want to be able to say no to these clients, and it's hard in the beginning, but it puts pressure on yourself to figure out, how am I going to make it work doing the things that we really want to do?
Great answer. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm really glad I stayed. Both of you, thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
First thing.
Great.
My question would be, as far as use of GoPro and drone, have you delegated that more, or is that something you only focus on, or how do you deal with that one particular aspect?
I'm typically the only one that flies the drone, just because
Startling every time.
I think the most important thing with the quality of the picture is really like the composition of it, and I'm really particular with that. So I like to be the one taking the pictures with the drone. The time-lapse, usually I'll set that up in the morning. Sometimes Catherine does. Sometimes the guys on site will set it up, but everybody knows how to use it. It's super easy. We plug it into we have a DeWalt battery with an adapter on it, so we can plug it right into the USB.
Oh, that's
goes
smart.
all day, so you don't have to worry about changing batteries.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of people are intimidated, especially with drones, thinking like, oh, what's the learning curve of how I'm going to fly this thing? And it still blows me away that now you can get a really nice
$394.
yeah,
I think, is it?
$500. You can get a really nice DJI drone, and all you do is push up. It goes up. You put the controller down. It stays there till you come back, and it's so easy to fly. I can't believe that you can buy that technology for $500. So, if anybody's thinking like, oh, I don't know how to fly a drone, it is so foolproof. It's amazing. It's really, and the cameras that they have on them now are amazing. So
They're shooting 4K on a $400 or $500 drone.
Yep. And it's got obstacle detection, so like it's really hard to crash into stuff. We've still done it a couple times. Yeah. Like the little wispy branches on trees, those will get you. But if you're like flying close to the house, it won't let you keep flying into it. So drones are, that was the biggest probably turning point. When I got the drone, it just, especially with the type of projects that we're all doing outside, you can't get a really good perspective of the scale of that project standing on the ground. You could try to get, we used to get them on a 12-foot ladder before I had a drone, and that was a little bit better, but there's nothing that can capture it like a drone.
Yeah.
And since we're on the topic of drones, I see so many people, like they take it from like 300 feet in the air, and it's like you can barely see you can see all the way into the front street. Like, just get high enough so that you can see the whole project, but make sure that your project is the focus of the picture, not like, oh, is that a patio way down there? Like, for some reason, I always see that. People think they need to fly it as high as they possibly can. Just get it high enough, 20, 30 feet in the air. You can see the whole project, and you can get an awesome perspective, and it's really kind of the only way to get that perspective on a lot of projects.
And I think, like, you guys saw it in the reveal video, but we use the drone on a lot of those flyby shots too, and I think that really helps. Like we've all seen the 3D renders where they do the fly-through video, where it's a render, but like it's like you're just hovering through the landscape. Now you can do that with the real thing with that drone, and that's some of, at least in my opinion, those are some of the most impressive shots because it puts the customer in that space. It's not like you don't see a backyard from the sky, and you don't see a backyard just from one still image. But if you can do a fly through like across, like now it's, especially if you can get it at like a human's eye perspective, all of a sudden you're giving them like a much deeper experience for what you've built for them and for future customers.
Hopefully that answered it. I went on a little bit of a tangent there, but
We'll take one last question, guys. Yeah, Adam. Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
yeah. So he was saying
This thing's blasting heat behind me.
initially we were taking a hit on profitability on our projects because I was starting a business from scratch, no credibility, no reputation, no portfolio. I was still learning a lot of stuff as I went. At what point was there a turning point in which we said, okay, now we need to raise our prices. We need to get what this is actually worth. And really what I set out in the beginning, because I didn't want to wait around. I knew that my passion was in these custom, unique spaces, and that's what I was good at. And I wanted to get to a point where we were only doing those type of projects as fast as we could. And I knew that if we just waited for those unique opportunities to come along, it could take 5, 10, 20 years to get that reputation as a high-end builder, or most of the time it never comes. You're just known as the person that does a little bit of everything. So I told myself the very first year, I'm not going to think about profits whatsoever year one. I'm going to take whatever jobs I can find with the right clients that are going to trust me to try stuff out and do unique stuff. And all I'm worried about is those final pictures that I can then market with. So it was really, most of that was in the first year. And I set that vision for myself at the beginning, and I stuck with it. It was one of the hardest things I've had to do, walk away from maybe a really profitable 12 by 12 patio to do a $35,000 job that took 10 weeks and $17,000 in material. You can do the math there. It's not great.
There's nothing left.
Yeah, but it's still, we got unbelievable transformation pictures from that. That picture alone has probably sold a couple $100,000 worth of work. And it doesn't matter what you charge that client. All I was worried about was the valuable asset to me was that finished picture. I could take that finished picture and say, this is a $100,000 backyard, for example. Doesn't matter that the customer.
This customer didn't pay that,
30,
but you will.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say it was definitely the first year. I think some of that mindset is still with me, that we're always trying to progress, and if we are ahead of schedule on a project or we just have a lot of margin in it, I'll allow myself to maybe come up with an idea on the fly and incorporate it in just to take it to the next level. So first year for the most part, but it's still, I think, just part of who we are to like always try to push it to the next level.
So what's just as we wrap up here, what's going on in your world? I know it's the late January here. There's not a lot of snow on the ground in New Jersey. I know you still have some sites open, but what else is going on in the world of Premier Outdoor?
We are in Boston for a show right now. Yeah, we're trying to work through the winter. We've switched to the open graded base, so we're able to work through most of it so far. We haven't had too much snow down in Jersey, and now is really the time of year that we always look at our processes, anything that's more on the business end of it, and look at how we can improve how we did last year, what changes we can make, setting goals. So we have a lot of plans for this year. Catherine's been on board for about 6 months or so. So we're looking to kind of take everything to the next level as far as always getting better at design. I feel like I still have so much to learn with designing and building, so I can improve so much there. I'm trying to become a better leader for the people that we have, and just always looking at little ways that we can get better at the things we want to be better at.
All right, and that's some of the stuff that you talk about on your own podcast that you guys started.
Yeah, the Hardworking Happy Hour. We get a ton of questions about all this kind of stuff through Instagram and everything, and as you can tell, I'm kind of long-winded with my answers, so it's hard to condense my thoughts into a paragraph to respond to somebody with something insightful or useful. So we decided to start the podcast, and it allows us to just talk in longer format about stuff that we're passionate about, like building a business, building a brand, marketing, content. It's fun. So check it out, Hardworking Happy Hour.
There you go. So if you liked this conversation and you're looking for more of that, our show is the Hardscape Growth Show. You can find it on Spotify, podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. They've started a podcast, Hardworking Happy Hour, same deal. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can check that out. Yep. Catherine, Sean, thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thanks for having us.
And until next time, everyone, work hard and pave harder. We'll see you next time on the Hardscape Growth Show. Thank you very much.